Hello, EuroHooplife here. We have Stan Ocitti here. How you doing today, Stan?
Doing good. Always a pleasure to connect with you, man.
Awesome. Yes, we just did a podcast on the team that you played for in the Netherlands back in 2004. We're going to bring things a little bit more up to date. You played for a team in Japan in 2015. Give me a little details on what was the intro to the team like, the process. What was the whole intro process of that team, the city you're in, how big it was?
So yeah, in 2013, 2014, I played out in Japan. That was my third year going into that market. I'd kind of made a name for myself at that point, so they knew exactly who I was. They knew my game, my style, and it was a fit for them. They needed that type of player. So once again, I did my research on the team, on the city, and it kind of made sense. So I decided to head over there with my fiance at the time. Beautiful place, northern Japan. Absolutely stunning during the summer times, and the winters can get a little rough, but in terms of the city, it was really, really cool. Maybe on the smaller side, but overall, really, really nice.
As in small, would you say like a 6,000 people, or would you say like 100,000 people?
Maybe 10, 15,000, I think.
Okay.
Well, actually, maybe 15, 20,000, I'd say.
But you were like the only team, the only kind of celebrity sports program besides maybe a soccer or other sports that they play over there.
You'd be surprised. In Japan, they have all types of weird sports, from sumo wrestling to log racing to all kinds of darts. They have like the most weird sports over there. So we were pretty much one of the bigger teams in the city, but they had other things as well that gave us a run for the money.
What was the city like? Would you recommend it as a family city or an individual player? What was the living situation? Did they pick you up from the airport? How welcoming were they?
Very, very welcoming. I always say if there was one thing I could do in my career, if I could do one thing, it would be to head over to Japan. The most professional, most friendly place I've played in. They picked me up from the airport. Took me out to eat while they were buying new furniture for me upon arrival. The people in the city. The only thing is the language barrier. Obviously, Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, so that was an issue. But we had a personal translator with us who went everywhere with us in terms of shopping for food, getting little
Did
things.
they have someone drive for you, cook for you?
Yeah. So yeah, they had someone driving for us. We cooked our own food. There was a U.S. military base not too far away, so we went there to shop and grab some groceries.
In that situation, I know that sometimes you can play in some of those Asian countries and there's a height limit. Are there any special rules when playing in Japan?
Well, I mean, since I played there, the rules have been changing every year. So right now, you're only allowed to play two imports per week. It's back-to-back games, so they play Saturday, Sundays, Friday, Saturdays, kind of like that. My first year there, you allowed 5 imports. My second year there, I think you allowed 4 imports. Now you're allowed 3 imports, and you're only allowed to choose out of those 3, 2 imports to play per weekend. So
sometimes you get a relaxing week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so always changing in Japan.
Nice. So what was your overall, with the experience, what was your thought on the team, the facilities? Go into a little bit more detail. Did they provide shoes? Did they had a driver and a cook for you? Go into details about the quality of the team, since, when we played in college, you can just request any kind of gear that you want. We're spoiled when we play for high level Division I. What was it like over in Japan?
Japan was definitely the same, very high. You get a lot of gear. I think my first year there, the funny story is they put us in the gear room, the storage gear room, as a changing room, which was a huge mistake because we were just getting a lot of shorts and t-shirts and socks.
Everybody's getting some Christmas presents for the team you're playing for in Japan.
Exactly. That was my Christmas shopping place right there. My first year there, we were allowed up to 5 shoes that we could, order any type of shoe we wanted. So they really take care of you in terms of gear. We had practice gear. We had, I think when I played there most recently, we had suits, custom tailored suits for each player, so that you look presentable when you went out to events as a team. Bonuses. What I really, really appreciated was that the fans, after every single game, they'd cheer for both teams, but at the same time, they would all come around the court, and you walk around the court shaking everybody's hand. And
Oh, nice.
a fan, if they really liked you, would give you presents. So some players got presents more than others. I had certain teammates who, never played, but because I guess they were labeled cute, would walk into the locker room with like tons of bags of stuff. So, I'd be sitting there sometimes like, man, I just played 35, 36.
You have your feelings hurt.
Yeah, I got this one little bag while the guy who's just the water boy basically is, it's like Christmas all over again for him. So,
nice.
Yeah, that was kind of cool about that place though.
Well, in EuroHooplife, we want to go over, this living situation. Sounds like they were on the higher level of professionalism, providing for the players, making them feel welcome. And on the same aspect of things, when you find a level of professionalism, you also find goods and bads on the financial side of things. This is we are professional basketball player salesmen. We got to go where we have to go where the money is. It's sign a contract Monday, get a contract Monday, sign it Tuesday, leave, pack up for 10 months, leave Friday or Saturday. So how would you say that they fulfilled the contract? Were there any issues on that aspect of things, financial side of things?
That's a good question, and that goes back to my earlier statement saying if there was one thing I could do earlier in my career would be to head straight to Japan. They were the most professional place I played in. As soon as I got there, I think immediately the next day we went to the bank, opened up an account. They gave me an advance. Every time the money was due, it was always there on time. They allowed bonuses. I know not me per se, but certain players would need advances on their salaries. The team was accommodating. So overall, everything off the court on the court was very, very professional. Didn't complain about.
Nice. So if you had to leave some breadcrumbs or some tidbits of information on the overall, any funny situations, any kind of food allergies with the different, the food choices over there, what was a situation that you would kind of give heads up as a final question and kind of leave information for this Japanese team?
Well, this Japanese team is up north, so it snows a lot. I think it's one of the, if not the number one place in terms of the amount of snow they get per capita. So it's a ton of snow. And one of the funny things we had to do was actually take driving lessons in the snow. So they take you out to this course and they ask you to drive really fast and then slam on the brakes and kind of get you adjusted to driving in that type of weather. So it was really cool to be like, just going full speed in the snow just to test out how cars reacted. And
yanking on that e-brake.
Yeah, exactly. So we ended up trying to stay there all day and skip practice and saying like, we need this, we need to learn this, coach. So that was a cool situation. Where I played at, it was Aomori, which was not too far away from I'm trying to think. I forgot the name of the city, but it was this beautiful city where they had over 2,000 cherry blossom trees. I guess some kind of king or lord used to live there. And a funny story was I'd gone there before, and springtime, the cherry blossoms are all full in bloom. And I'm there with my wife at the time, so I'm thinking like, okay, she's been with me for like 8-9 years, and I'm thinking this would be a great time to propose. So I go over there, and my teammates wanted to tag along. So throughout the whole time, I'm trying to get rid of them so that I can actually get down on one knee and propose. But the whole time, they just would not leave us alone. So I ended up, just not doing it until much, much later. But if any of the players listening to this find themselves in northern Japan, I'd highly recommend going to some of these cherry blossom places, castles, and it is really, really beautiful over there.
So as a FIBA certified agent, do you represent players, and are you connected with the Japanese basketball league?
Yes, that's one of the leagues I really operate in. I currently have a few players that are playing there. Since my retirement, a lot of my ex-teammates are also GMs, coaches right now. And so I've always kept in touch with them. So, it's one of the leagues that I have a strong hold on. And I recommend I represent players in the top league, second league, and third league. The league has changed so far. It used to be 2 leagues back in the day, and then they restructured it and made it more into the European style, where you had 1, 2, 3 leagues. Winner of the second league goes up to the top league. Winner of the third league, kind of like Europe. So it's changing, but it's also kind of a cool place to play in.
So it sounds like you're well connected and up to date on everything that's going on in Japan. If a player watches this video, well, how would he get in contact? What's the best way? And
so social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. My email address is Stanley Ocitti Agency at gmail.com. I'm constantly looking for players. I'm big on players with Bosman A status, which basically means you have an EU passport. But as I said before in your previous talk, I really, I'm very open-minded, but I also am very specific about who I work with. I don't want to put players in situations that I cannot get them a job. So that being said, I'm always very honest and direct with a player. I will look at your resume. If I cannot work with you, it's not because, you're not good enough. It's just because of the markets that I work in. I feel I cannot get your job. And that's, I'm very open in terms of directing players.
And that's only fair.
Yeah, and I'm very open in terms of directing players to the right person. But I'm also very particular about who I work with.
Stanley, thank you for your time. EuroHooplife, just helping future players get an inside scoop on teams and contracts that they're going to be signing for in the future. Stan, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Stanley. Bye.
Bye.